Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hain. JD Vance appears to be suffering from foot and mouth disease majorly. He has this bad. Each and every single day, his painful attempts to cuck for Donald Trump become even more and more obviously desperate and just ridiculous. His latest came today earlier when he delivered some remarks to the press at a PBA association event in which he so pathetically tried to defend Trump's indefensible comments with regards to the Congressional Medal of Honor when it comes to veterans versus civilians. Let's take a look at that.
We'll do one more then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator. I wanted to ask you, Trump has been getting attacked from his comments at the press conference yesterday about what he said about the top military honor. And veterans have pointed out, he said that the civilian presidential honor is better than what wounded veterans have received. And I wondered, what do you say to veterans who think that's demeaning?
Well, look, I was with a group of veterans in Pennsylvania yesterday, and trust me, the veteran community is very, very much behind Donald Trump. So, look, what I would say to people is, look, what President Trump said during a ceremony, and I haven't seen the entire remarks, but my understanding is President Trump said during a ceremony that a person who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he was saying some nice things about her. He was saying some complimentary things about her. Donald Trump, I've seen give out a Congressional Medal of Honor. I've seen him give out a number of awards and commendations to military veterans, and of course, I myself am a Marine Corps veteran of the Iraq War. This is a guy who loves our veterans and who honors our veterans. I don't think him complimenting and saying a nice word about a person who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom is in any way denigrating those who received military honors. They're two different awards, and I think the president was saying some nice things about a person that he liked, and that's a totally reasonable thing to do. All right.
Is it just me, or does JD Vance seem like he's Trump's press secretary? Like, he is an excellent sycophant. If that's what he was looking for, then he is licking that Cheeto dust pretty damn hard. I mean, I guess he was kind of a press secretary during his time in the military, so it would make sense. Anyway, let's actually look, for those of us with a functioning brain cell and can actually see with things with our eyes, let's look at the horrific shit that Trump said regarding the Congressional Medal of Honor as it pertains to civilians versus veterans.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. And they're rated equal.
Is it really any wonder that a fly landed on him? Because he is such an utterly despicable piece of shit, and flies love shit. But getting back to JD Vance, there was a question that came up by a reporter in which she brought up Tim Walz's undeniable popularity, and JD Vance, who, is about as popular as herpes. Anyway, JD Vance tried answering this question in the best way that JD could, and as you can imagine, didn't go too well. Let's check it out.
Sorry.
It's okay. A new ABC Ipsos poll was out today. It shows that Governor Walz, Vice President Harris's running mate, has a higher favorability among Americans than you do. What's your response to that poll? And also, what can you do ahead of the October debate to try to win over more Americans and your campaign?
Well, look, I don't put much stock in polls, especially at this early level. I think Governor Walz was nominated just a couple of weeks ago. He's received a ridiculous media honeymoon where they've hidden, a lot of press have hidden some of the things that he said and done.
Look, if I can't find the polls in the couch, then I don't put much stock in them. If I can find polls in the couch, and if I'm fucking the couch, then maybe I'll start caring about the polls. You're weird and nobody likes you. Speaking of polls, this comes via Newsweek. A YouGov survey conducted on August 8th, 2 days after Harris announced Walz as her vice presidential pick, found the governor with a net favorability rating of 11 plus points. That was up from 1 plus point net favorability in another YouGov survey conducted in late July. Vance, however, has seen his approval rating drop since Trump announced him as his running mate on July 15th. His net favorability was -6 in a YouGov survey conducted between July 15th and July 19th. That's like never happened after announcing one. It dropped to -9 in another survey conducted between July 22nd and July 25th. So there you go. Things got even more strange when a reporter was asking JD questions about immigration, and then JD went into some weird comparison about Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York, Martin Scorsese's brilliant film depicting the late 19th century gangs of old New York. Like where he compared himself on immigration to Bill the Butcher. I don't know, just take a look at it.
Okay. Sir.
Senator Vance, Chris Cameron at the New York Times, you were talking about the relationship between crime and immigration, and my question is on that issue.
Please.
In an interview when you were running for Senate in September 2021, you were speaking with Jack Murphy, and you were talking about previous waves of immigration to the United States. You said the following: you had this massive wave of primarily Italian, Irish, and German immigration, and that had its problems and that had its consequences. You pointed to these problems as being higher crime rates, ethnic enclaves, and inter-ethnic conflict. Should the United States have prescribed similar policies to what you're proposing now, including mass deportation, to deal with those issues?
Well, first of all, I also said there were a lot of benefits to that wave of immigration. But has anybody ever seen the movie Gangs of New York? That's what I'm talking about. We know that when you have these massive ethnic enclaves forming in our country, it can sometimes lead to higher crime rates.
Now, I may be from New York. Trump's from New York. I may be the Know-Nothing Party. But I don't endorse Trump, nor do I endorse that weirdo, J.D. Vance. If only they gave out medals for these categories, you guys would clear the competition. You'd be able to compete in the Olympics. You'd win every single one. Funny that you mentioned immigration, J.D. Vance, though, because you guys like to talk a big game, but when it actually comes time to put forth policy, to actually do anything realistic about that actually adults do, the adult work, you do nothing. I think it was President Biden who was going to put forth a border security bill. It was a bipartisan package, that included extra border security at the southern border. And what happened? Y'all stomped your feet. Because why? Because you wanted to pay fealty and do the bidding for your psychotic, orange, fascist, malignant, narcissistic cult leader. He didn't want anything good to happen because he wanted to take credit for it. So you guys went ahead and did nothing because you do nothing. The Republican Party exists purely as a mouthpiece for Trump and his crazy extremist MAGA agenda. You guys are you're MAGA bumper stickers. That's what you are. You have no vision for the future. You have absolutely no desire to do any type of actual workable policies and programs that help people. No, you exist purely to give limitless tax cuts to your billionaire donors and friends, make sure that they pay next to no taxes at all, or the same rate as teachers. That, and just like Governor Tim Walz said, you're weirdos. You want to get involved in the personal lives of Americans. You want to dictate what gay people can do in their bedrooms. You want to control a woman's body and say what she can and cannot do. And even weirder, you want to fight these bizarre culture wars, banning books, upset because corporations are recognizing gay people and putting out rainbow beer cans for it. You are all freaking weird. So yes, you will do nothing on immigration, and nobody expects you to do anything. I am Michael Hain. This is Really American. If you like our content, please hit that subscribe button. You can check me out on TikTok while I still have this account at Mike Hain Comedian. Talk to you later.